stand because you've broken it, that's good. Now, all of you have some place probably to go to that has a nice female in it who will probably let you in. Your mother, your wife, your girlfriend, something like that. What is a natural girl fight weapon below the waist?
Balls.
Weapon.
Weapon.
What do they like to do? They love to kick shins. Do you know how to shin kick now? Oh, yeah. You know, you can call it the oblique kick. You can call it that. Works so bad. And so when Bill talks about a foot rake, and if somebody had been used a teaching device to do it at full speed, as I do at other places, but not here, it's very painful. And for your own information, if you know people or family members who have metastatic bone cancer, that's what hurts. The pressure of that fucking cancer stretching on the bone. Okay? So we've got will, windows, wind, wheels. Anything else? That's enough, isn't it? Okay. And you attack any of those. Now, Bill said, remember when he was talking about boxing and how you wanted to get offline? Well, that's two things. Number one, where you can't get hit, but it also eliminates everything in your center line. Now, the one fair thing in a fight is everybody's vulnerable area is in this line right here for the most part. On the throat, Bill has emphasized that his C-clamp, it's called Tiger Claw, everybody has a name for it, but the universal is here and 45 degrees up and in. Now, this gets his windpipe out and also is very disturbing to the person, somewhat like the writing reflex, and he will immediately want to attack that. Now, if you have the ability to come like this and hit right in the Adam's apple with a fist, but particularly a piece of iron or the back of your K-bar, that would do it too. Now, the downside of that, if you've been just captured by this bunch of smellies, and all your friends are dead, and you're wounded, and you're in the middle of the night, he's going to make all this gurgling noises, and they're kind of see what's wrong with him. It's like you don't shoot people. Sometimes you got to kill people quietly because shooting people gives away your position or draws a crowd. Okay? People are curious about gunshot murder. Now, the other thing that Bill also taught you is this little esophagus choke thing. Now, it's pretty hard to practice that, but you'll find some asshole someday and do it. Now, the next thing is the collarbones. They are very sensitive. So learn how to do hammer fists into here, learn how to hit these with clubs, pommels of knives, rocks, whatever you got, okay? And it works pretty well. But the other thing that is particularly important, I don't know if Bill gives it a specific name or not, is the advantage of the pass block or pop-up. This thing right here, it takes his shoulder out.
What's that?
It's a blow that comes right here, up like that,
Who's this guy?
at 45 degrees. Are you with me? It's on his tapes. Buy his tapes soon.
I got that.
Okay? Now, from here, now if you're talking to a teenager, you know, and they are really snotty, if they're still going through puberty, if you take a soft weapon or a hard weapon and you hit them right in the nipple, if that's still in the device, that really, really hurts. Now, after they're mature, that doesn't work. Now, the solar plexus that everybody likes to talk about is this right here underneath the xiphoid, okay? A good blow to there is good, but to look for that, looking for the solar plexus is like looking for a lock in a fight. You're going to be dead before you find it, okay? The next thing, if you have a gun and he is in body armor, shoot him right there, below the body armor. Guess what's right there? In the belly button. You know why you want to do that? Guess what's right below the belly button? The bifurcation or the splitting of both the vena cava and the aorta. You put all his blood into his gut, he's not going to fight you very long. If you've got that shot, of course, you know, let me diverse for a minute. If you're facing a knife, your best defense for facing a malignant person with a knife is what? Run like hell. Okay? Your second best defense for somebody with a knife is to pick up any kind of weapon that's longer than the knife and beat the hell out of the knife. You know, defang the snake, but beat his head in too. Whatever you got, go for that. So, we've got... Now, Bill, how many people have you heard that have collectively been able to throw a knife and kill somebody with a kill shot by the penetration of the knife, like in the movies all the time? You just can't do that.
Never.
Never. It's never going to happen. Now, in the various movies where you see the guy throw, you know, Crocodile D puts one there, and that Wild West thing with, he puts it at the guy's balls, and of course, in my favorite original James Bond movie, the Russian takes out a gypsy with a 50-yard knife throw to the heart that drops him over instantaneously. Okay? Now, killing people with knives, did you go through that bit as well? Okay. Well, killing people with knives is messy, and it's also noisy. So, when you see all this business of that, and the guy's dead instantaneously, no, people. He does this coughing and gurgling thing, and it attracts his friends. And also, when they find you with your friend, he's still gurgling, and you're covered with his reflux, it annoys them. They take it personally, even if they owed him money. Okay? It upsets people with that. Okay? Now, not to be grim, but if you get on the Live Leak or YouTube, you can see these Arabs cut me, and it's disgusting. You know, it's very effective. Okay, so we know how to shoot people in the belly button, and that. Now, turn around. The human kidneys are not down here where you kidney punch. This is a great punch, and it's named the kidney punch, but that's not where the kidneys are. If you need to kill them with a knife, although it'll be slow, it's right up here at 45 degrees. Okay? Are we with me on that? Shall I just suck you to approve that, or do you think they'll take my word for it?
I think they're really above.
Okay, good. Now, we all know about the package. Anybody who has earned himself a knee to the nuts has earned himself 2 knees to the nuts. The balls are like shooting people with pistols. They need to be shot with a pistol. They need to be shot at least twice. Anybody who's earned a knee to the nuts earns 2. Because let's say if you miss and he kicks back, your foot's dropped right down, you're loaded for another one. Give it to him. Okay? Now, and if you just cram his pecker against his body wall, that will work. And if you think, oh, well, he missed my ball, there's no problem. How many people have taken a righteous knee strike right there? Gee, the wheels and the will will go away just as much. Now, I've talked about the philtrum. That's up here. Somebody go plug Madame Chantel's ears. What's your frenulum? Don't mistake the words. The frenulum is that little dinky thing that holds down your foreskin, or used to, between the glands of your penis. Don't screw it up. Okay? Philtrum. pH. All right, don't do that. Now, it's very sensitive. If you could get a strike specifically to that, it works. Now, the round kickers will tell you that a kick to the thigh, bend your heel, wipes out the sciatic nerve. It doesn't. It does cause a collapse and a bruise. Your sciatic nerve comes from the point of your ass, your ischial tuberosity, down the back of your leg. I think what it does is it hits this huge sheet of fascia that covers all your lateral thigh and then blends into the side of your knee and causes a collapse from that. Now, one of the sergeants that we had that worked for us for 2 years was a professional Muay Thai fighter. You could kick him in the legs, anywhere, he didn't care. But particularly with Bill's kick that comes up and down at 45 degrees, works pretty well. Okay? And the same thing works when you don't kick. Like Dennis in the squat was just a little bit. Squat, not bend. Remember when they told you to do this? Gee, another 45 degrees. Okay. And if you do have a knife, the femoral artery comes straight down from the side of your balls, comes down right at the front of your legs, and right here at the distal third, it snakes around the back and then goes back to your knee right there. So a knife, a wound, a katana that goes through here or comes across here might get it. Now he's not going to, and of course if it's down low here, you're going to take out enough tendons that he's not going to be able to stand, but in 5 minutes, he's not going to be fighting you anymore. The front of the head, the brain whams back on the back of the skull, okay? So one of the bouncer's techniques for stunning a guy is to come up and go bam, right on the top of the head. And it doesn't look aggressive, but the guys who practice it, all of a sudden this guy is dazed and you just sort of walk him out, okay? The same thing has happened. This is why when you fall backwards, you don't let your head hit the cement. This is why when you are down on the ground, you have to go through an awareness thing of, do I want my head on the ground where it's a stationary target, or do I want to look around and have the risk of getting my head pounded? All right, are we with me on that? Okay. Now, if he's standing there like that, and he's really pissing me off, and he just won't let me alone, and oh, leave me alone, I'm an old man. Leave me alone, I'm an old man, or I'm an old woman. This dumb shit doesn't realize that I'm in a fighting stance. He looks like I'm being supplicant, okay? But I'm protected, see all that? And I get right to here, and coming from my right foot through my hip, through my trunk, and up to my hand, I go BAM on his ear and try to put his head over that tree on the horizon. There's the blow to the head, but what also is right underneath where I hit? His ear. And his little otoliths, which also gives him balance. So that hurts, destroys his equilibrium, and gives you a weapon. All right. So, now if I take him and violently take him to the side, I screw up his righting reflex, which you can't train that out. There's no key maneuver, chi dive maneuver for that, all right? Okay, we talked about the odors. All right, so thank you. Now, side view of the human skull. The soft spot, the ear hole, the two main bones. One is called the atlas, the other one is called the axis. That's where 50% of your rotation is. There's a lot of room in there. On the guillotine, the terminal guillotine from the front, you separate that, okay? If you do one of your kickover maneuvers and he lands on his head first and flexes, you separate that, all right? If you do a lot of the front things, I think I showed a couple of you the front triangle and how it sort of just pops the head off like a Pez container. That's a good female defense maneuver. Oh, sweetie, come down, I want you after all. Whack! Okay. So I think you have that. Now, the other four vertebrae here are why you wear a goddamn seatbelt. So they don't go pop and you end up paralyzed. All right, everybody wake up a little bit. Not him.
Okay.
Okay, rules of 45. 45 appears a lot in my opinion, in self-defense. Some of us thinks, of course, 40, if it doesn't begin with 45, you shouldn't shoot anybody with it, but that has its point. What sort of things have I talked about 45-degree angles are right now? Okay, well, we'll help everybody. Now, if you get hit from behind, just blindsided, boom. Should you just walk like this or should you do something? What direction should you go? You should take, of all things, about 3 steps and recover out at a 45-degree angle. Okay? I'm rushing you. I'm bull rushing you from behind or the front. You want to stay there and take it like a man? No, you want to get off at 45 degrees. What does Bill keep telling you to do when you're doing this? Circle, 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 circle. What's that angle in there? 45 degrees. Okay. The way for me to kill Sam here, I won't do it until Saturday morning, it's okay, is 45 degrees that way in a violent jerk. Okay. When I told you how to slap this guy, 45 degrees. We teach women who are in the first part of a standing embrace or bear hug, and their feet aren't on the floor, claw the eyes, and the elbow comes in, 45 degrees down, 45 degrees back. Are we with me on that? It's a nice number. Okay. Now, this is not anatomic, this is more rules. What are the no's of a real fight or a street fight? No rules. Rules? Another one?
No rules.
No rules.
No mercy.
Begins with R. You get a referee in a street fight?
No.
Okay. Do you get a rest in a street fight?
No.
Is there a ring in a street fight?
No.
Okay. All right, good. There's hope for you. Now, the other thing about threes is how many times does Bill say as a minimum you need to strike your enemy to set up the clinch? 3 times. Amazing. Isn't that good? If you have somebody choked out and they've done this, how many seconds 1,001, 1,002, 1,003 you want to do? 3 to 5. And you do it. You think, oh my God, I've killed him. No, you haven't. Not yet. But you just, and this is a good time to check your sex. You've been kind of busy, okay? And you want to, and rebound. Are you with me on that? Now, the other thing that is important, stand up please. Again, this is not combat, but this is street, is if she comes up and gets blasted behind, how many steps should she go before she recovers? 3. And then she should turn to the outside at 45 degrees. Now, thank you. Now, if you're fighting in a small area or an area you don't know, and you have to retreat, I mean, sometimes here the fucker is. You do it like this. Typical fighting stance, but it should be no more than 3 steps with this as your guide. So as soon as you can feel anything, you stop. And if it's a solid object, go somewhere. Okay? Are you with me? This is kind of a rudder or a steering post in the old-fashioned. Oh. All right. Now, do we all understand from our impact and edge weapons what inside and outside the range of a weapon is now? What's the general rule? Impact tool, hammer, sledgehammer, where do you want to be? Inside. Any kind of edge weapon, where do you want to be? Outside or behind. And the faster you can either press the arm up against him and do one of his things like that, or behind and choke him, okay? But inside and outside is good. Now, I would like a volunteer, other than Calvin, to tell me what Bill means by triangulation and double weighting. Go ahead.
Triangulation, he means by like the way the feet are lined up and they make a triangle in front of the body. So it's
Okay.
kind of like a triangle in the sense that they line up and make a triangle. Striking range too, with your arms.
Well, that's part of it. But when he speaks of triangulation for his for his takedowns, almost like throws, and he said, I didn't want to do that, is that particularly the Asians, you see triangles and everything. Well, they talk about that. The Salat guys have these involved katas that involve motion, which are very good for getting your balance. But, come on here, man. See, if she gets me in something, let's say a headlock, when Bill, and he said, bap, 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 and do all that, but then if you do this and take her over, what's happened to her balance and triangulation? It's not there. So the place that is missing in the triangle, that's where you take her down. You spend some more time thinking about this. Double weighting, particularly, one of the most beautiful things he has. So when he takes the guy, he's coming in a bull rush, and all of a sudden you get all his own weight on his own leg, he's yours. That's double weighting. Thank you. Okay, inside, outside, division. Oh, out of interest, most of you are Canadians who don't have the death penalty. Is an English, well-done judicial hanging a cruel act if done right? Okay, let me tell you what an judicial British hanging is like. They've got it worked out for weight. It's that big knot on the rope that is waxed or greased. They know how much weight the guy has, and as the individual falls, the noose immediately cuts off the brain and consciousness, and microseconds later, the knot breaks their neck. Done right, it is a very merciful death. Okay? Now, the other thing that is important that comes out, speaking of that, we've all seen the movies and where the bad guys, execution style, shoot the guy in the back of the head. That's a very effective way to do that. It's because this spot, right here, this little soft spot between the hip and brain's got an opening about that big. And you pith frogs when you were in high school biology where you stuck the pin in them? Same thing. It's 22 up there, nice cheap round, no noise. And the person is mercifully dead instantaneously. Now, if you ever get to a point where Bill teaches you how to eliminate sentries, his way of getting his knives in those areas so you don't have this girdling mess and getting covered with blood is, I think, very effective. Wear your seatbelts. Okay. Repetition is the secret to learning. What are to win, what are the things you want to do? Eliminate the W's of winning, people. You're not that tired. This is an easy question. Windows. Wheels. And that's if you quote that in a party with a girl you're trying to impress, you say, well, yeah, I do a little martial arts. And sounds like you're a real kung fu killer when you give her that. All right, any questions?